In Israel, far-right lawmakers have announced they've agreed to join the ruling coalition, giving Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wider scope to rule. The deal means that Avigdor Lieberman, leader of the ultra-nationalist party called Israel is Our Home, has been named the new Minister of Defense, but he's yet to be sworn in. The previous Defense Minister, Moshe Yaalon, resigned on Friday in protest against what he said was a shift towards extremism in Israel. Let's get more on this, speak to our reporter Gregg Carlstrom, who joins us now from Tel Aviv. Greg, what was behind this decision of Netanyahu to form a coalition with Avigdor Lieberman?
It's largely about domestic politics. As you said, this was about widening the coalition. Prime Minister Netanyahu was re-elected last year to a fourth term, but the coalition he put together had only 61 seats. It's a one-seat majority in the Israeli Knesset. And so that meant for the past year, he was effectively held hostage by any backbench lawmaker who wanted to demand a specific piece of legislation or a particular change. They could threaten to hold up the entire government unless they got their way. So what Netanyahu has done now is he's bought another 5 seats for his coalition. He's taken some of the pressure off. He was in talks with Lieberman last week, but he was also in talks with the center-left Labour Party of Isaac Herzog about trying to bring them into the coalition. So to some extent, this wasn't even about ideology so much as it was simply about the mechanics and the numbers within the coalition.
Given Lieberman and his party's stance on issues such as settlements, and I mean, where does this leave the peace process?
Well, it wasn't in a very good place to begin with. Lieberman is certainly a very hawkish politician. He lives in a settlement himself in the occupied West Bank. He is not a big enthusiast about the two-state solution. But also, before he came into office, there was no peace process. It's been comatose for years. His predecessor, Moshe Yaalon, opposed the two-state solution. And if you look at the broader scope of Netanyahu's cabinet, it includes the Jewish Home Party, which is very much against the Palestinian state. Many members of Netanyahu's Likud party oppose the idea. So there have been some talks recently about the French organizing a peace conference next month. President Sisi of Egypt is hoping apparently to get Netanyahu and the Palestinian president together for a meeting. But really bringing Lieberman into the government doesn't change that much. There was no peace process to begin with.
Okay, Greg, many thanks for that update. Gregg Carlstrom there for us in Tel Aviv.